Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geomologist Presents. We're going to try something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm going to do solo play with two sidekick characters with my wife, Amy, and we're going to be playing HårnMaster, or the Saga of Gundar Green-Eye, using HårnMaster 3 rules. I'm going to try this out, see how it works, and maybe we might get people who want to play the two brothers. It's a trio of siblings that are involved in, I'll just say it, the revenge of the death of their father. So I'm going to use, like I said, HårnMaster rules. And after I give the introduction, um, I guess you can see that Amy already has the three characters sheets kind of there in the background. We'll go over that when we actually get to some action, I think. That's probably the best way. But the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to read. And what is the Saga of Gundar Green-Eye before I continue? The Saga of Gundar Green-Eye is a fan-made epic based on Hårn, created by N. Robin Crosby. And this saga is written by J. Sojdelius. J. Sojdelius. Um, and he actually has an email that I'll probably put in the show notes for you. And we're based on Columbia Games and Celestia Productions Limited Hårn World, putting it in Hårn World. And it's in Ivinia. It's going to start in Ivinia, specifically in Menglana, in the region called Raudlund. And then it's going to go from there. It's supposed to be epic, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. HårnMaster can be unforgiving, and we'll see how this first encounter goes, and go see where the campaign takes us. So I guess let me introduce my wife, Amy.
Hello.
And Amy has never played HårnMaster before, so we'll see how it works for her. I expect these characters seem to be, from a HårnMaster point of view, uh, not very experienced characters. They're characters in their early 20s. They have some skills, and some of them have some surprises in some of the skills they have. So it should be interesting. And the other variation I'm going to give, just right off the bat, you see that they all have like a blue bar with numbers over them. And I'm going to use like fate points, uh, inspired by Warhammer Fantasy. I did toy with the idea of doing like combat using Warhammer Fantasy, but I said no, let's just try HårnMaster. The crack or the comment with HårnMaster by some of my players, because I've run it before for some of them, has been that there's a lot of decision making in combat, but not a lot of payout, and there ends up being a lot of quote unquote whiffing. But when I was kind of playing around with it, I didn't see a lot of whiffing, but we'll see. And if there is too much of that, then maybe we'll have to modify the way the combat system works, and I'll throw a wrench into Amy's learning of the game as we go. So I apologize in advance, Amy.
No problem.
All right, so I'm not going to read the whole saga of Gundar Green-Eye, but I'm going to read some excerpts so you know what is going on. And this happened in the days of old King Janssen. A man named Gundar came in a boat to Ivinia, to the Ajlu ford, which cuts through the southern part of the kingdom of Menglana. He was certainly not Viking. This people could tell from his short stature, his dark hair, and his green eyes. But he nevertheless evinced good qualities like courage, honesty, and selflessness, and people called him Gundar Green-Eye. Gundar intended to settle by the fjord. He therefore traveled around and offered farmers in the region his help in return for modest payment so he could save up to start his own farm. He would always go inland towards the high ground as it approached Thang Week, congregating with farm people as they were on their way to his Thang. It was a difficult time for Gundar because the people of Avinia never trust men who they do not know, especially if they, like Gundar, are from a different kin and speak a foreign tongue. Gundar also never told of whence he came and why he had come to Raudland, and this seemed suspicious to many who wondered what secrets he might be hiding. During the first year Gundar spent in Raudland, 5 Olgius Fordling farms suffered from an epidemic that had never before been observed in the area. 10 good men and their women and children died of terrible cramps, blue-tinged swelling in their faces and forearms. Among them who died were Elgar Two-Tongue, son of Grimald the Rich, and Wolf of Geltehelm, the eldest son of the clan chief Thuram, who killed many heathens in Harball. Many others followed these deaths, urged by the blue plague that discolored both flesh and blood. People blamed Gundar for this plague and dared not shelter him under their roofs. He was shunned, rejected, and hated, and soon no longer dared seek employment for fear of his life. It so happened 2 years after the death of old Mad King Janssen that Gundar came to the village of Ralk, the Impoverished, which lay a half-day sailing from the Stimby Vothron, where Esvald of Rald and his sons reigned. Ralk was a man who was considered by all to be ornery and solitary. About this nothing was ever spoken, for his father was Sailed Sharp-Edge, and he was a man from whom you do not speak ill with impunity. Sailed Sharp-Edge had died in a family feud with Barald of Helgobjard, and his name was never forgotten. But Ralk was not really a man of the sword, so he walked away from the feud. Ralk had a daughter, Jofrid, who was his opposite. She possessed a cheerfulness and a wisdom that was lacking in many others. She was comely but proud. Therefore, she accepted no suitor who did not in turn accept her father. About her mother, nothing was known. Rumors made claims of Yarili heritage, but the truth was never ascertained. Jofrid welcomed Gundar's arrival and convinced Ralk to let him stay to help out around the farm. Gundar did so and showed his gratitude in sweat and hard labor, for he was a man who always paid his dues. It seems obvious that Gundar and Jofrid quickly took to each other, and when Ralk passed away in the horrible winter storm of 692, Gundar buried him and took over the use of his farm, which would grow into a respectable property during his lifetime. Jofrid gave birth to Gundar's 2 sons and a daughter. All the children were strong and healthy, and became a great help to Gundar in working the farm. Many years passed as the children grew older, and Ern of Rald was the name of a man, the youngest son of Esvald the Grim. He lived in Stimby on the clan land by the Ulgesford. His wife was called Jorun, and she was from a fine family. Arn was an adulterous man who often sought women for his enjoyment. He had heard of a strange young maid who was said to be able to enchant even the most feeble old men with her beauty. This woman's name was Helga, and she was the daughter of Gundar Green-Eye. Arn took 5 men with him and sailed to Lidargaarda, which was Gundar's farm. He called Gundar out and told him he wanted to see the rumors about his daughter's beauty and if they were true. Arn saw Helga and immediately realized how true the rumors really were. He spoke to Gundar. Green-Eye, I'll have your daughter to wed. Reject me, and by the Lajarl I shall cut off your head. Put it on a pole in the dirt outside of Stimby for all to see and learn. Both Gundar and his 2 sons responded with anger and were ready to drive off this haughty Viking and his men with force. But then Helga stepped forward, kneeled by Arn's horse, and said, rather than allowing you to harm my father and brothers and take me away with force, I voluntarily give myself to you. But know this, my affection and respect you shall never have. And as I stand here, I swear to you, by the sword of my father and the hearth of my mother, I shall always make life difficult for you. Arn replied, foolish little girl, your words betray your ignorance. Time will set you straight. A better man than Arn of Rald is nowhere to be found. Thus Helga entered the household of the most powerful Viking clan among the entire Ulgesfjord. Her life in the Viking Thronal was certainly not easy, but also very humbling. Her husband was the youngest son of the clan chief and already had a wife. Despite this, the 2 women tolerated each other and helped each other endure life with this brutish Viking scion. Last year, in Tuzen's year 719, Helga bore Arn a son. This was no child born of love, but Helga nevertheless felt the child brought a glimmer of light through the darkness in which she lived at the Stimby Vothron. However, the child did not light up the dark for very long. Arn's fury was awakened when he saw the boy was endowed with dark hair and green eyes. He was not born a true Ivinian. The stock of Gundar, the blood of Gundar, lay strong in his veins. And Arn thought that this would bring shame to the clan. In a fit of drunken rage, the cruel Viking had the boy killed and Helga expelled, accusing her of witchcraft. Empowered by hatred and grief, Helga, being a shield maiden in her own right, stabbed him with his own sword and then fled for fear of retribution. Returning home, Helga told of what fate had arranged for her. Spiteful scion of Vikings sought to own young maiden. Honor wholly held, son of Viking scion, met a savage fate. Eye to eye with sire, spirit deeply wounded. Courage did not fail me. Viking champion slain by fair maiden's hand. So that is the background of Helga in a nutshell. And here we will pick up. Any questions so far, Amy?
Nope, not so far.
What do you think of Helga's backstory?
Typical Viking girl, I believe. I mean, taken without her will, although she gave herself up, and it's kind of the way life was then. Women were nothing more than chattel.
Right. Well, this is a fictitious world, but it
Mhm.
is medieval, early, circa, I would say, 1000 CE in scope and vibe, especially in Ivinia. So yeah. And like I said, it is an overcast day today in Saraju in 719. You see here at the farm while working it, you and your brothers, your mother and your father, down below a small ship has anchored off the rocky beach of the fjord below Lidargaarda. This is the remote farm owned by your father, Gundar Green-Eye, and his wife, Jofrid. 6 passengers accompany rowers on the ship. 3 appear to be Evinians, an older bearded man leading the group, and 2 younger, powerfully built men, possibly sons of the first. The 4th you see is a short bow-legged man of foreign origin, dressed in plain clothes. The 5th, a slender warrior with exotic armor and weaponry. And behind, bringing up the rear, is a tall, gaunt, mysterious figure in dark flowing robes, who, I don't know, seems not to be speaking. They climbed the hill up to the farm and called out for Gundar, blacksmith's son, commanding him to step outside. At first, Gundar refuses and pleads with them to leave and leave his family alone. The leader of the invading party, the big man, laughs mockingly, but promises to spare Gundar's family if he would only come out and confess his guilt. Gundar accepts the offer, though suspecting that the crude Viking will not be true to his word. Jofrid, your mother, understands what was about to happen, so she leads you and her children quickly through the main lodge to a storeroom, which is partially built into the mountain wall. She shows you a secret underground hideout that her and Gundar had dug in anticipation of this very day. So while you're inside the shed, you think your mother is going to join you, but she quickly steps out, closes the door, and you hear the bar fall upon it. Your brother Isbrid is incensed, starts hacking at the door or beating at the door. Your weapons are probably not with you. They might be maybe outside, not in the main storeroom. They're not here in the cellar. Uh, Bjorn kind of sits down, semi-resigned. Helga, how do you feel? Your mother locking you in the cellar.
She's a little irate because she's the shield maiden, so she should be able to handle herself. Kind of feels like maybe she should have been brought into the discussion, but is resigned to the fact that mom and dad tell us to stay, we stay.
What do you try to tell your brothers to calm down? Well, Bjorn just seems calm and sort of resigned, just kind of sitting there.
I mean, I can try to calm them down.
Oh, so now we look at the character sheet. Yeah, so the top, if we will pause here to look over this character sheet. You can go show there. So this is the HårnMaster character profile for Helga Gundarsdottir. You can see these first 3 blocks have her personal, her name. It's a human-centric world. She's a female. And then her birthday. Birthdays are important because they give you a sun sign, and sun sign actually contributes to your base skill. Then you have a lot of stats under there. You have your attributes. That is something that has always been criticized about Hårn. There are a ton of attributes. So you have your strength, stamina, dex, intelligence, aura, will, even comeliness. But then you have 2 stats for like agility. 2 stacks two stats representing dexterity and agility, so there's a difference there. And then there's stats representing your eye, your hearing, your smell, your voice. So, and aura and will are two different things. I think aura is your capacity to, if you were a spellcaster, to cast spells or understand the esoteric. Will is your willpower, like you would expect. Then there's like family under there, and then underneath, there's some spoiler there. Don't look at that, listeners, watchers. And then the next block is the skills. So combat skills there. And what's cool is I've calculated the skill base and then your mastery level there. So you, and all you would do is you would click on that dice and it will roll a percentile dice for your roll you want to roll under. And if you get, and it'll tell you if you succeed or fail, if you get a critical success or not. So that's I guess the die roller mechanic is pretty good. So you have combat skills, physical skills, communication skills. And then if you scroll down, please, Amy. And then you have a craft lore, a ritual skill. So that's like, you know, how you pray to your god. Here it's Helga, being a shield maiden, is a worshiper of Sarajin, the god of the Vinians. I think one of her brothers is not actually, which is interesting. So, and then while she is not a Shek Pavar, Helga secretly, interestingly, has some psionic abilities. There are psionics that can happen in Hårn. They're not great. They have just been probably triggered by the trauma of being in the household of Arn Rald. But they're there, and you can see that they're budding psionic traits. Next, after that, we have the combat profile. So combat stats or load, any penalties that they might have. There's always an encumbrance penalty if you're fully loaded out, and that also applies to bad guys, so worry not. And then after that, you have your armor protection. It's kind of layered out, and you on the inventory tab, you would add the armor, and it kind of calculates this out for you. And then you would have injuries, and if you go further down, then you have the melee weapons that you can use. And oh, I did give you a short bow. Okay, so you can fire a bow as well. And then finally, spells or magic and religion, which you don't have. You just have skills in psionics, so you don't have those. Oh, I guess they added psionic powers. I guess I will have to go back. So when I first made these characters, this psionic power tab was not there, but it looks like they just added it. I'll have to I'll figure that out at a later date. But suffice it to say, if you do try to cast psionic power, we'll see if it works for one, and then I can look at in the HårnMaster book. So, all right. So that's the character. What did you want to try then? I guess it would be a communication skill.
Correct. And I don't know if it would be oratory
Right.
or rhetoric. I don't know what they use as the difference, or intrigue.
I feel like rhetoric is like kind of more like rhetoric would be, well, maybe we should look it up for our listeners. Just tell us what the difference is between rhetoric and oratory. Oratory seems to be more like oral tradition that you are doing, whereas rhetoric might be more like argument, like a treatise or argument or something like that. But we will look it up. So just give me a second to look this up.
No problem. Because it would be nice if she could use intrigue. That's her highest skill over there.
It doesn't seem like intrigue would be
No,
the
it
right one to
doesn't.
use.
You'll probably come back and tell
So
me to use
oratory
the
is the ability to impress, persuade crowds by logic, eloquence, or charisma. Rhetoric is more of the fast talk. So oratory is like long, so it's the opposite of what I thought actually. So rhetoric is has many uses, from apprehend thief trying to fast talk his way out of a visit to a dungeon, to a friar explaining the mysteries of faith to a child. So it's really to persuade people to do something not in their interest, right? So it's persuade is rhetoric. Oratory is to convince someone through a speech or impress crowds by logic. So rhetoric you could use to command people, diplomacy people, or use diplomacy or use intimidation. So right. So I think it would be rhetoric because you're trying to calm them down.
Alrighty, then we'll give that a try. I'll just hit the dice roller.
All right. No
And
mod.
it says,
Yeah. No.
sorry,
Sometimes there's a modifier. I think he's your brother. He's your brother. Probably Isbred is your younger brother. He gives you respect. So I think I'll give you a +10 there. So put a 10 there. We'll see. And we'll submit.
marginal failure.
Right. So he keeps banging at the door. Um, right. So you probably don't want to use your uh, fate points
No,
early. No, but he keeps
no.
banging at the door. Eventually, though, he does tire out. You hear, unfortunately, though, as this progresses, you hear screams and shouts. Finally, you hear the crackle of fire and flame, and definitely, it as breath is breath backs away from the door because it gets pretty hot, and you can smell. I mean, you hear the price slaughtering your animals. You hear the bleating of goats and the squawking of chickens through the crackle of the fire.
Hmm.
This goes on for a little bit.
Well, I mean, Helga would say, calm yourself, brother. It's only going to be moments before that door burns down, and we need to be ready for a fight.
This
Do
is
I need
true.
to roll
He
for
could,
that?
no, he calms down.
Okay.
So yeah, eventually that does your prediction is correct. Isbred busts through the door, and you see that your farm has been burned.
Can I look around to see if my weapons are around or
Yeah,
any of our
you
weapons?
can gear yourselves up, preparing for fight in the storeroom, and recover your weapons.
Okay. Do I have to roll for that?
No, no, you don't have to roll for that.
Okay. Because she'd like to go out and take a peek, so I guess she has to roll stealth.
If you would wish to roll stealth, you can. That's fine.
Because she doesn't know if they're still there.
Right. Right.
But she'll have her bow ready to go.
Okay.
No modifier, correct?
No, no modifier.
Marginal failure. Certain
Yep.
sameness to this.
Yes, there is.
I can't really see those numbers very well because it's tan on yellow.
Right. Yeah, that is kind of tough. Mine is, it's interesting. Mine is like, I switched to dark. Maybe if you switch to dark, because mine is like purple on green. You go to dark mode. Yeah, much better.
That's much better.
Much better. Thank you for, I'm sure some of our watchers appreciate that. All right.
I couldn't see what's
Anyway,
going on here.
despite you getting
Okay.
a marginal failure, it matters not. There's no one there.
Okay.
Um, it's you find your parents, your mother is dead. Um, it looks like Gundar, you see your father, he was attacked brutally with a blade. His arm is lying next to the rest of his body. He's bleeding out. You see there's still breath in him. You
She'll
see he's
lean.
got multiple stabs on him.
She wants to lean down and ask her father who did such a thing.
Gundar seems the spark is not yet complete. He speaks his last words. He says, "Seek your heritage, locate the grave. Do not follow the way of the sword." Shash, shasa, and that's his last breath. He hands over an exotic-looking medallion in sparkling gold, as well as a blood-red string of twine that was around his wrist. So your father, the man known as Gundar Green-Eye, is dead. Okay, so here's what the medallion looks like.
That's quite pretty.
Right? You have no idea what it means. All right.
It means my father died for it and I will wear it.
All right. So it is a chilly early spring morning. at Lidargaarda. I will switch you from here to the Lidargaarda map. And I guess it would have made sense more that, so I will amend how I described earlier. It would have made sense more that all your gear would be stored in the secret cellar, or you had grabbed it out of the storeroom beforehand, just to prepare.
Okay.
All right. It is an early spring morning here at Lidargaarda. You guys are, the storeroom is that sort of building, this building here
Okay.
into the mountain. And yeah, you see if you pan, and this is like the burn farm, the livestock pen where the animals have been slaughtered is here. The burn farm. They tried to burn like the crops and stuff, and some of the garden, but yeah, it's just smoking. But definitely the house is full of fire, still smoldering fire. Uh, the pitch is probably, like the pitch for the thatch roof is like dripping and has like little gobbets of fire on it. Right. So
Is a piece of the wood on fire that I could pull off, use like a torch?
yeah, you could take your spear and pull out, push out a piece of the wood as a fire, right? If you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm assuming Bjorn and Jasbird might do the same thing. I mean, it's A, it's for warmth, but B, I mean, we don't know what else we're gonna come by.
Right. I think Bjorn, that's easy to pronounce. I think YSBRYDD. I know the DD is TH. It's like
Jasbird?
I think it's Eisbrith. Eisbrith.
Yeah, Jasbird? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Isbrith or Eisbrith. Yeah. Maybe a Welsh scholar can tell us. But I mean, clearly that's not actually an Avinian name. So Helga and Bjorn are Avinian names, but Eisbrith is more like maybe where your father was from. So that's what he told you. Bjorn, your older brother, would say, "Oh, that is a Jaranese name," and then Isbrith would always say, "Well, why did I'm the one who goes a Viking here? Why am I named after your ancestor's father and
A
not my
sign of
mother and
respect.
not my mother's?"
It is a sign of respect.
Okay, so I'll have everyone. I can roll for Bjarn and
It doesn't matter. I can do
Isbrith.
it. Just,
Okay, yeah, it
what do
just
you
takes
want
a
me
little
to?
longer. So
What
let
do you
us
want?
roll. I think awareness is the role that we're looking for. Awareness for everyone. No modifier.
So Helga is not aware.
Nope.
She's marginally unaware.
Right.
Bjorn. He's aware,
He is aware. Yes.
marginally.
Mm-hmm.
Nearsbeth, or however we're pronouncing his name,
Yep.
is like me, focused on the fire.
Yep. Well, both of you, both Isbrith, whether it's you or him that see it first, you you do notice a large boat approaching from the north. It has it is a Nivik, so a larger boat that probably has quite a number of men on it, and it has the arms of Clan Rald, which I should have made a hand up for. I wonder if we can.
That's okay.
So I will describe it. It's a it's a crow with the sun and a moon on it, and it's red and black kind of diagonally, or not red and white diagonal with a black crow in the. I will have to get a copy of the Rald shield for you, and I'll put that in the show notes at some point. But it's Clan Rald that looks like, so that doesn't look, that's not so good actually. They're technically your enemy, and they must have seen the fire of the farm from afar. So whoever got success, Bjorn says, hold on. Is it Bjorn?
Bjorn,
Bjorn is like, hold on. I hear faint voices and some undefined noises.
can we hide? I mean, if we hide over here, would that be a good hiding spot? Because this is just a burning pen, right?
That is the grains. It's like grains. So I guess it might be like because it's spring, right? So it's probably not a lot of stuff there. The sixes are sorry, you can't see the numbers, but this is actually an apple orchard over here,
Okay, well we'll hang out over there then.
and um, this I think over here is like a berry patch,
Well,
and
I don't think
this is like a vegetable garden.
those are definitely not going to give us the Heidi that I was after.
Yeah, yeah. I'll spread these guys out a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna hide like, oh yeah, there's trees and stuff you can hide. I mean,
Well,
you could.
trying to, but
All right. So coming up the beach, yeah, these are like rocks, right over here, rocks and a wooded area. Good hidey stuff.
is that better to hide over there then?
I don't know. It's up to you. Your boats are over here. You guys have a
I
pinda.
don't know where you're pointing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to pan out.
Right. So over here, yeah, there's some your boats are over here.
Where?
Oh, you can't. Yeah, I'm on the wrong. Hate it when that happens. All right. Wrong layer. Your boat, yeah, boats over here.
Okay. But there's nowhere to really hide over here unless we go in the trees, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess you could. But if you want to hide in the apple orchard or in this wooded area, you could do that.
Well, probably the wooded area over here is better if it's closer to the boats.
Oh yeah, okay. Where?
I'm moving us. I have to have us so small I can't see anything otherwise.
Yeah, well, it's a big area. I mean, all right. Well, as you kind of move over there, I'm going to roll for these guys. All right. They kind of move up. You see some as you kind of move in that direction, you see some people coming up the beach.
Are they all in separate boats or this is
No,
their
they're like in one boat. The other boat's kind of far.
this
You
is
did
their boat?
yeah, well, you kind of as you kind of move in this direction and maybe jump, kind of briefly look up on you step on the rocks and look, you see there's a small Talbar boat over here that they came in. And your boat's over here, like a pinda, smaller pinda, like a single sail type vessel. Talbar's a little bigger. Um, all right, and they're kind of coming up the beach. You, Helga, you recognize them as they kind of, so these are like contour lines as they kind of crest the ridge. You recognize this guy. I know. You recognize,
Thorngale?
yeah, you recognize Thorngeld and Stormcar Rald. So Thorngeld is the half brother of Arn, whom you have killed, and Stormcar is Stormcar Rald, cousin of Thorgeld. The other two you don't recognize really, but they probably maybe you saw them in the Great Hall. But of course, there's so many people. They might be cousins or
Hmm.
somehow related.
Okay.
They don't appear to see you.
Well, Helga will whisper to her brothers, if they go in the house, let's take their boat.
Well,
And set
what about them?
well, if they're in the house, they can't do anything if they don't have a boat and we set fire to ours.
Oh, you still have the pitch and torch that you collected from the.
Yes.
Okay. All
Hopefully
right,
they don't notice it.
right. Well, okay, I'm gonna have them move closer. Like I guess when you guys moved from, so you didn't go to the orchard, right? You just want
No, I didn't know our boats were over there, so.
yeah. That's the problem. You can hear them saying stuff as they like look around. Uh, they they might go and you know who knows? And maybe they'll take some of the dead livestock. Oh,
That's fine.
so
As long
Thorn
as they
Girl
don't notice us.
moves up. Yeah, I'm gonna roll again for them. I believe that is. Yeah, they don't. They're clueless. Really, they don't
Okay,
notice.
good.
They don't notice you at all. Yeah, they're quite far away from you guys where you are, and I think there is a movement stat on your character. I believe movement somewhere. Maybe it's under the combat stuff.
Mobility 13.
Oh, right. So I guess you're right. It is probably mobility. Move and hexes 14. But how big are hexes in this? How much is a standard hex?
I
Because
don't
these
know
are
I don't know where you saw moving hexes.
um down there, load carried,
Okay.
where movement under combat stats.
Okay, movement 13.
Yeah. And then you have like dodge and all that
And
kind of stuff.
then Bjorn
14.
Bjorn is 14.
Right. So,
Yours birth. I'm just letting everybody see.
yep. Well, I look up what that means.
Is 11. So he might have to be carried.
Who's that? Oh, Bjorn's not super fast.
No, your birth? Your birth?
Yeah.
He's still wet behind the ears. He's only 20.
Yeah. So movement, number of hexes. So how big is a hex? That's the question, right? Oh, there we go. One hex equals 5 feet. So that's how many feet you can move in a round. So multiply that by 5, so 60 feet or 70 feet. And each of these are big hexes, right? Because it's a big space. So these hexes are 100 feet each, right?
So I can only go one square.
Yeah. But you can roll. Yeah, yeah, it's one square, but you could like double move. So you could go 2 squares if you really needed to.
Okay.
So, but
Then
then
I'm
you have.
thinking it's probably easiest for us to get into our own boat and sail and set theirs on fire, or sail and get into their boat, but that might be more trouble than it's worth. We want to wreck their boat though.
So they can't follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd rather take their boat, but I think that's a really long shot.
Yep. Okay.
If I had stayed in the apple orchard, it wouldn't have been so bad.
Right.
It's okay.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do? They're like exploring around.
Head for our boat as best as we can, but we want to
You
try to
probably
do it.
you probably would have had time if you had wanted to wrap up your parents' bodies, right? But they're still like over here unless you carry them with you.
No, I would have left them in the house.
Oh, I left them. Okay.
Because I mean, if we heard somebody coming,
Mm.
our parents would have been like, we're already in Valhalla. It's fine, you know,
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna make a dash to the beach.
as best as we can, but we don't want to cause a lot of attention.
So you
So
want to stealth? You want to stealth it then?
yeah, I'll most likely get caught because I'm not very
Well,
good
I
at
mean,
it.
they'll just see you. They still have to go get you. And really, it looks like what do they got? As you look at them, sword. So Thorgeld has a sword and shield. Stormcar has 2 axes. So he probably is the toughest fighter. The other two have axes and shields, so they don't have any like missile weapons really,
Okay.
like a long range missile. So they'd have to run towards you guys.
And they move basically at the same speed.
Yeah,
So
pretty
we're
much.
1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 movements from the boat. Or can we do
You
one,
can
two?
you can double move. You can right if you just move, you can move 2 hexes. So
Okay.
you're right. So you're like probably two rounds from if you run, right?
Okay.
Because you can move like 60. So you fight your well if you run, right, your movement is what 13 you said?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 65 feet.
Well, can we just move up to here,
Oh,
get a
like
little closer and see if they're going in the house? If they're in the house, then we'll make a dart and run.
yeah. Well, they're like exploring around. So if you want to, you can move up to like here with these rocks.
Yeah.
So you could stealth that.
Well, attempt to stealth it.
You could attempt to stealth it, yeah. Assuming they're all um
And I'm
is
assuming no modifiers, so critical success.
oh for Helga, okay.
Boy, she's stealthy, man.
Yeah.
So if she can double move, can she get to the boat?
Um I want to see what running does. See if running, let's see. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. Okay. So you could actually, if you sprint, you can triple move. So you can move.
To the boat.
Yeah. So what's your movement again? I'm sorry.
13.
13. So you can move 195 feet. You sprint.
Okay.
So that'd be like to that first little boat, the little rowboat.
Okay.
All right.
She'll sprint to the rowboat and then lay down as flat as she can in it.
Okay. And you critted your. I'll let you do that since you critted your stealth. So let's see what these other guys do. You want them to sprint too?
As best as possible.
You want me to roll or do you want to roll for them?
I'll roll. I mean, it
Okay.
doesn't matter. They're gonna do the stealth thing too,
Right.
and hopefully be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Marginal failure,
For
of
Bjorn.
course, for Bjorn, and then Yarsborough.
And he has a good one
Yarsborough.
too. He has a good stealth. It's crazy.
Yeah, but he didn't make it.
Yep. Oh.
And he didn't make it at all.
All right. So I'm gonna have Bjorn double move. So
Okay.
he will move. He was four. Was he four? No, he was 11, right? So he moves 110. Yeah.
No, the youngest brother has the 11. Bjorn has 14.
So Bjorn is gonna move like 14. It's 140 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So probably like to hear.
He'll lay down and try to be one with the sand, except now he's one on the beach there.
No, he's behind you.
Well,
Yeah, he's like right here at the
it
edge of
won't
the.
let me move him.
Oh, that's unfortunate. You moved him before. Oh, because he was underneath. So I'll put him here. Put you like here,
Well, I'm in
and
the
then
rowboat though.
yeah. Well, you're between the boats. You're like flat behind the boat, under the boats, and
Now,
then
this one is the one with the critical failure, and he can move. His movement is 11.
all right. So he can move 50. He moves 55. Jog. Yeah, so he's way behind. It's like he moves like one square basically.
He might just stay where he's at because he's behind a rock.
No, well, he critically failed his stealth, so
So he can't.
maybe he can't. I mean, you could. technically you could use one of his fate points and re-roll for him before we determine what happens. But
Well,
he's
I
got a
don't know
20.
how
He's
we
got a
get fate
24.
points, so how do I even get fate points?
You just re-roll it. I mean, they'll
No.
come.
How
Oh, right.
how do
They'll
I
come
get
back.
fate points?
Right. They'll come. I mean, you get to normally you get like the refresh at the beginning of the next session, or if we have a break in the scene or act or whatever, or you do something spectacular.
Okay. Well, he'll use a fate point and try to re-roll it.
Okay.
So he's gonna get up from tripping over the rock, brush his stuff off, pick up his bow and arrow, shake it off, and try again.
Yeah. Yeah. Icebreath doesn't have a right,
And it's
marginal
only
failure. Okay. All right.
he's not any better off.
Right.
He was back here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just move him like to here, I guess.
So
He's yeah.
that feels like a waste of a fate point.
No, I mean, I think if it was since it was a critical failure, I was automatically going to let him see you, but now they have to roll to see if they see you.
But he's by the ledge, right? So if
Yeah.
he lays down, okay. They're both gonna lay down.
Okay.
And
You
Helga's
guys,
gonna she's just gonna hush him and say, look, typical brothers,
yeah.
stop
Okay.
trying to do this stylishly and just get down. All right.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. 40. Oh man. Huh. I wonder if any of these guys are like. Yeah. So I think you hear a cry from over there, and Thorngild points. They're in the house though. These guys are probably in the house looting, grabbing dead chickens. Thorngild's maybe outside looking around. Stormgar is like chopping turnips in the vegetable garden. If you think you guys might be hiding, but Thorngeld goes, "They're getting away. Go that way." Um, so all right, but they're pretty far, so they won't be able to move till this next round. But we'll see how fast they move or whatever. But it's your turn, Helga. I won't do
Okay.
initiative yet.
I want to get out of the boat and get into the other boat.
Okay, could do that.
So how do I roll for that?
You can just do that and get it prepared for.
Okay, for when they get there. So she's getting from the rowboat into there.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I mean, you don't. I'm not going to make you roll like each increment. I mean, if you're being end up being chased.
Yeah, and her brothers are going to do the same thing if they can run, so they probably have to roll movement,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no die for
Yeah, so
movement.
seamanship is tested when a character attempts a difficult task to do with the handling of the ship. So yeah, only if you're being chased or you need to do some fantastic feat of navigation, like if you were trying to get through these rocks or something. Okay, so you can get into the ship and get it prepped. That's fine.
Okay, and these two are going to run over there as best as possible, but under movement, there's no die for me to see if
They'll make it. They'll get there. I mean, well, if he runs, right? They're trying to stealth, right? And they just keep rocks over.
yeah.
Kicked up dust. So they're able to get there.
Okay. And they move, do they still have an action?
Bjorn could probably do something because he can like move once like at a jog,
Okay.
and do something else. Isbrit has to if he wants to get there. So he can either move. If he moves like just one, he'll be like here and do something, right? But Bjorn, if he wanted to get up there, and since you're prepping the boat, he could do something. Unless you want him to get in the boat, and then that'll be it.
Well, I want both of them to get in the boat.
Okay, so Bjorn's going to get in the boat then. Okay.
And he doesn't have what I want him to have in order to do it. And Helga's already had her turn, so
Yeah. Well, she's prepping the boat to shove off, and Bjorn just runs into the boat, and Isbrith is just like a little bit behind.
yeah,
So
typical for
these,
him.
yeah. So these guys, yeah, he's not. He's got a limp, in battle. He should have. Maybe he says something like, maybe you've heard him say that he should have died. He should have. He should be dead, but the Ilkiri did not come to take him yet.
Well, Helga will smack him across the cheek and say,
Oh,
"You
that's
should be grateful that the god saved you. You have purpose."
oh God.
Not hard. I mean, she's not trying to do damage, you know.
Yeah. All right. So they're now, as they're jogging, they're not like sprinting. They're about 200 feet away or so, 300
Mhm.
feet away from you guys, the closest one. Okay, now what?
We want to get out to sea,
Okay.
but I don't know how to roll for piloting a boat.
Um,
I don't know what skill that is. I have seamanship on Bjorn. So is that boating? Seamanship?
yeah,
Okay, so he's gonna pilot the boat.
yeah. So you guys can make a seamanship roll.
While he's doing that, both Helga and her brother wanna get an arrow ready with some fire.
Okay. So, all right.
Marginal failure. Um, I feel like he should use a fate point, but I don't know how. I don't know how to take the fate points off. You'll have to do that.
Okay. Yeah, you can have him. I'll do it. You want to have him? So you're having Bjorn do it?
Try again to get us out further.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you go ahead. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, yay.
Yep,
Once
nice.
we crest around there, what I'm hoping is that Helga or Josberth can shoot a flaming arrow at that boat.
Okay.
Because I don't know how far out we can get the boat.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it does have a movement rate, and I'll get you the boat because you're going to be doing boating stuff for at least a little bit. Let's see if there's a movement. I know there's a movement here for the Pinda. It's got a pretty good. It's an 18-foot boat, 20 feet and 21 feet in height when you put the sail up. I'm shocked that there's no movement here.
Don't know. Can't help you on that one.
No, no. Or oh, okay. There you go. So he gets it to beat. So I mean, it takes up the wind very beautifully, and you guys can go like actually. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could get it to here.
Okay, that's easier to hit this then.
Yeah, I mean, it takes the wind. Actually, what I'll do. On your Pinda here, she passed by, and I'll get you guys out there.
Okay.
Um,
And we'd like to shoot flames at that.
oops.
Wrong boat.
Yeah. All right, I'll just put you guys out there, but we know you're on this boat here. But it catches a wind, like whips up, and Bjorn's like, he's like, Helga, no, no, we need to catch the wind, not go into the wind. So he kind of adjusts the sail, and you kind of push it out into the rocky beach here, or I guess this is sand, I guess.
Mhm.
And or some reefs, you push it out a little bit, and then he catches the wind while Isbrid and Helga are sort of pushing, and it just takes off. And these guys are like, what the? Because they're like running in this direction. So now they got to run back in the other direction.
Mhm.
All right.
And hopefully we can maim their little boat there. Although their boat, I think, is bigger than our boat.
I don't know.
Maybe the same size.
Okay. Yeah, this guy seems like kind of fast. This guy's Stormcar. He's got the double axes. Okay. Yeah, which you want to take a shot at the couple shots at the boat?
Yeah, I mean, I thought y'all's both had
No, it's Bjorn and you are the bow folks.
okay. So how do I do this? I want to use the bow.
Yeah. You can go to the combat area and just click the bow from there. And
Um,
you probably I'll give you a
combat
plus.
area.
Yeah.
I see combat initiative and I see dodge.
Like below that.
I did, but I didn't see where I'm supposed to press.
Um, oh yeah, there's a you see where it says
There's,
short bow, carried missile weapon, short bow.
yes,
Oh, and what is it? 20 short. Wait. Where are we?
I don't know how to
Oh,
roll.
okay. Short is 20. So 20 times 5. You're in medium range. You have to roll you know, you're not gonna have a great chance. But so you're gonna roll see it says like there's a little dice next to short. There's a dice with medium and a dice with long, etc. But you give yourself a plus 20.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. This here,
Oh, I'm not looking at the same.
that,
No, the one
'cause
under
that looks
medium.
like, I don't know what where do you want
Yeah,
me to
this is
roll?
so that second dice, that middle dice there, that
This?
one. Yeah, click on that. I'll see how this works. And then add 20, put 20 there,
Okay.
and then submit, and we'll see what happens. Nice. You
Marginal
hit it.
success.
You hit it.
Woohoo! With the fiery flame.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I have to do damage.
No. Oh no, you don't do damage. You hit it.
Does
It can
damage 80.
No, that's the long range or extreme range or something. That's long range. It's kind of not the character sheet is kind of shifted off, but
Oh, okay.
the damage would be at medium range, I believe. I think the damage is 4, but I'll tell you. I'll look make sure.
Is it 5?
Short bow, medium range is 5. Yes.
Okay.
So it's 5 damage. So if you would have hit somebody, then it'd be like 5 damage to them. And then depending on where you hit, actually you rolled a 4.
Well, there's a 5 underneath
Yeah,
down here.
penalty is 10, modifier is 20, you target was 10. So you needed a 10, but you still hit with a 4, and then a 5. I don't know what that 5. Oh, 5 is the damage. So then
Yeah.
what you would do if you're attacking someone, then you'd roll another percentile dice and we'd see where you would hit them. But you hit the boat. I mean, you're probably aiming for the rigging, right? So
Yeah, I want it to be on fire so they can't use it.
yeah. So it catches on fire. Yeah. And and you got Bjorn sailing, so you're the only one who's shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And his breath is just like insulting them as they come by. And since yeah, I mean, unless you want to stay and linger, I mean, those guys are gonna be stuck there,
Nope,
honestly.
I'm not lingering here.
Yeah. So here is this is kind of a fun thing. The next thing we do is sort of a chase, because you see that other boat coming from really like from
I
that
don't
other
see
boat is
another
coming
boat.
from the northeast. The northeast. So I'll show you like a poetic map. Oops, I gotta show it to you. So I'll show you this map here. So they're coming from, you guys are you guys are like at that little spit. Do you see my arrow, my little arrow? You see you're like here.
I have no idea what you're pointing at.
Okay, I wonder if it.
We can't see anything.
Yeah. Okay. So
Just
you
give me
see,
a town name.
right. So the thing to look at. So you see, there's that island right there, Hika Island, or Haina Island.
Okay, here.
Yeah, and then go southeast to that little spit. That's where your farm is.
Okay.
And you see the boat, the larger boat, the Nivik, is coming from like the north. So if you want, you can,
Here.
yeah, from that direction, from Stimby. That's like the the
Up
Thronal of
here.
the Thronal of the Rald clan. So you guys can sail, yeah, through
On the
there and try to
this way.
outrun the Nivik. But since you got a critical success, the amazing thing, the amazing thing is that the chase starts at extreme because Bjorn got a critical success on his sailing.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need three rounds. So the Nivik is somewhat faster. So the initial skirmish, so the chase is at extreme. So they're like between 500 and 1,000 yards away. So we're gonna do like seamanship skill again, and you guys can aid your brother.
Okay, how do we do that?
So what is your skill base?
For seamanship?
Yeah, go up to top to seamanship.
15.
So you're gonna add 15 to his skill.
And then
And
younger brother.
Isbrid,
14.
14. Yeah. So probably so one or the other can aid. Take the best. So you can add
Better, well, it's 14 for him, or what was
15,
she?
15.
15. So she'll use 15 then.
Okay. I will that's gonna say how aiding works, but I'm gonna make sure.
While we're
User.
taking this brief pause, our
Yes.
viewers can take this opportunity to press the thumbs up button if they feel like we're doing this correctly, or leave a comment to us on how they would have done it differently.
Mhm.
And subscribe and share.
Aid. Unpaid. Maybe it's assist.
I can't help you, I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh, okay. Skills. So there are 9 assists, so getting help.
One always likes help.
Right. I'm going to use that rule. I'm going to say that you just take the highest of the number of people that are assisting. I'll use that rule, and if I can find it for next time, well, then we'll use the correct rule. But that seems fair enough. So give him 15, and we'll
Okay.
see how Bjorn does.
Not good. So he's going to use his last.
Oh no, Bjorn has 3, so you can use another one.
Oh, okay. So we'll try that again without the oops.
Yes.
Marginal failure.
So
So
marginal failure. Okay. So this means that the distance is unchanged. So they're still pretty far away. They haven't gained on you. They're probably
okay.
because they have to change direction, and then they're probably slowing down to see what's going on the beach. But definitely like that, this thing is on fire, right? So
Okay, so how far did our boat move then?
yeah, you've kind of moved off the map technically. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I will switch maps again because these aren't like round by round. That's just like a scene. Um, so I wonder if it'll let me. Yes, I got the boat, Amy. I got the boat right there. Yep.
And where's their boat?
Their boat.
It's still up this way.
Yeah, let's say it's like something like that. Something like that. I mean, this is all relative.
Okay.
Right. It's a bigger boat, you know.
They're a lot closer than I like them to be.
Well, they're still like between 500 and 1,000 yards away, you know. But you guys are. I mean, the distances here are are 5 leagues, which is about 10 miles each of these, 10 to 12 miles each of these hexes. So, you know, 1,000 yards is about 3/4 of a mile or so.
Okay.
So they're quite far. And because yeah, and the chase is starting at extreme. So you really need to just get one more. So roll it. So we're gonna do it again this next round. And unless they try to, I mean, they're still gunning for you. So this
Okay.
is the next round. He still has one more. Let me get the I'll bring the tokens over for you.
Okay. And that then. And
Um,
then she'll obviously want to aid again.
okay. And he's at 1, right?
Unfortunately, yes. And
Yep.
I don't think I can share.
No,
I
you
can share,
cannot
I
share, but
would.
you could take over if it goes poorly. And you get a 15. He's
She
got a
has
good seamanship.
better seamanship.
Oh, does she? Do you want her to take over?
Yes, she
And
has better seamanship.
all right, so what's his seamanship?
14 and hers is 15.
I don't know
So
what's Bjorn's seamanship? Like the total is 40.
14
Oh,
and then
oh, he's
52.
52. So
And
it'd
then
be about the same. It'd be about the
she
same.
is 15 and 15.
Oh, she is. So he is, yeah, it's Bjorn is the better, yeah. So she gives a 15 to him. Yeah.
Okay. But I mean if he doesn't make it, then she'll have to take over.
Or Isbrit will take over or something. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, he's got even worse.
Mhm.
All righty, here goes nothing.
Yep. Nice. All right, so the range, oh wow. Okay, the range changes by 1 in your favor. But the range goes from extreme to out of sight.
Oh,
You
I
get
like
away.
out of sight. Out
You
of
get
sight
away.
sounds good.
You get away. All right. Wow. Okay. Well, let me pause here for a quick break, and we'll get back and see what are the results of them escaping the farm and getting away. What is next for Bjorn, Helga, and Icebreath?
Wow,
Say that again, Amy.
I wanted them to leave comments about what they think we should do.
Oh, right. Well, uh, maybe the gods will answer. Right. We'll be right back.
No.
All right. So just to summarize, the the Gundar clan, the remains of the Gundar clan, Bjorn and Isbrid, Gundar's son, and Helga, Gundar's daughter, have escaped for now the potential wrath of the Rald clan, who probably were, you know, seeing that their protector or something might be in trouble, or maybe even given a tip, right? Why would they show up all of a sudden and then invest? You wouldn't, there's no way you could see the fire of Lidargaarda from Stimby
No.
unless you happen to be there. So, who are these mysterious people that killed your mother and father? That is the quest, right?
Yeah.
Isbrith is clamoring for revenge as you escape and make your way around Hinna Island and into the Olgis Ford. Um, so Stimby here is like the seat of the Rald clan, and undoubtedly the Nivik would have had a once pursuit was lost and you guys sailed over the horizon, the Nivik likely turned back to pick up, you know, the stranded people, and they probably finished the ransacking of Lidargaarda out of spite, and probably had a lot of chickens on a spit and goat meat, or would take them back to Stimby. In any case, whether they pursue or not, We don't know. We don't know yet. But the brave crew of this Pinda are sailing probably out of Raldland. Would you expect?
I
And
would think so.
yeah, so
I mean,
what came about your decision to flee instead of fight? That's a question that I'm sure listeners might have already. I certainly do.
well, I mean, she took the medallion from her father and she interpreted when he handed it to her and had some last guttural sounds. She thought she interpreted, take your brothers and go find family. And that she took as I don't have time to stop and fight. Go.
Okay,
Trust the ancestors will protect us. And I think they did.
well, cool. Well, so I think you want to get out of Raldland. So the way to get out of Raldland and Menglana is through the Oslu Fjord. Oslu Fjord? Yes. And so that would be, out this way.
But
Yep.
yep.
Yep. And it probably takes a few days. And during that time, and there's no pursuit, I don't know, you might have to stop at one of these small towns or Thronals and pick up supplies. I mean, I don't know how much, I don't think anyone has any money, or maybe if anyone has any money or what you need to do, or
Well,
you're
I'm
gonna,
sure we could just scavenge for food, but I'm thinking if we stop at these towns and start telling the tale of what happened to our parents, and we can swing it, because I mean, if they couldn't have known that fire was started and get there that quickly, so she suspects they started the fire and killed her parents, and maybe start getting others on her side.
yeah. So did you want to stop at any of those? And I can look in the Gazetteer of Raldland and see if there's anything of interest in those villages.
Well, maybe the first one we come to that looks big, maybe that Granum, or is that too
Grand
far away?
Granheim.
Is that too far away?
Oh, I mean, no, you want to head out of Algil
This
Sport
one?
anyway, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's wonderful things that going on the other ones, but that one seems on our way easier, so we can either go down the small river or we can go up the big one, or we can even go in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's about 4 leagues away. So that's not a problem in your Pinda. You make it there at a good clip and with the wind. You make it to Granheim, and you probably just want to. I mean, I think do you guys have do you guys have any money? Oh, you have 20. You have 20 silver pennies. Um, Isbrid has 29 silver pennies, and Bjorn has 35 silver pennies. So you probably can.
I don't know where you were looking for money.
I think it's under. Is there like another tab? I feel like. Oh, click on that little suitcase.
Little suitcase.
There's a person and there's a suitcase
Oh,
in
inventory.
inventory, and this is where I would enter all the weapons and all your stuff. And I
Oh,
think at the bottom, keep going, keep going. Money. Oh, it's not in there, but on your money person, it should be yeah, 20. You should put in that box here. In that box, put 20D.
here.
No, the one up top, I guess, because I don't know. Just
Okay.
put 20D in there. Yeah. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it's on the character sheet in the
Yeah.
module, so
Do I have to press edit first, or will it keep that?
it should keep it. It should keep it.
Okay, and then you said for my brothers, Bjorn has how much?
Bjorn had 35, and this
D?
is yeah, 35D.
D as in David?
Yes.
And younger brother with the weird name?
Right.
Oh, that one has 29D on it.
Oh, so I must have put it on some people and forgot to put it on other people. Yep. So Granheim, what do you know about Granheim? I'm gonna man, I just say I didn't know we'd get this far, so I apologize. But there's a really cool picture of Granheim actually in the book that I'm using. I don't know if people can see it.
Well, maybe this would be a good place to just sleep on the boat and then pick up here next time.
Maybe that's a good idea. We'll get to Granaheim, and you can pull in. Um, it is like the Granheim is ruled by the Weidswolds. They are some of the most accomplished shipbuilders in Menglana, and their fleet is second only to that of the Ralds. So clearly, they probably have a natural competition or rivalry with the Ralds. There is an ongoing source of frustration, and there's been quarreling in the past. Maybe you can learn some interesting intrigue in Grandheim, and it's actually quite spread out. So it's odd in that it is not really enclosed in a fortified wall, unlike like most Throns, are like kind of like walled with a ditch, and
Hmm.
this one has a wall, but it's not like an enclosed wall, and it's just like a single wall, not quite fortified. So, which is interesting. So it makes it a little hard to defend, but they are known for certain things. It does have a port, and yeah,
I like
so
that.
that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think we pull into Granheim having escaped pursuit and avoided uh, being arrested or killed by the vengeful Rald clan. Again, whether they, um, but you're like in uh in in clan rivals place, Yep. And maybe you can find out some interesting stuff here in Granheim, and then I think that's a good idea. Uh, we'll pick up there and we'll see what happens in Granheim, and
That sounds good.
maybe you can ask around because if you're leaving this way, then clearly anyone who came from afar, because you definitely did not recognize that people or their clan emblem at all when those people who came up to kill your family, or maybe they weren't even wearing that. But you can ask around. Granheim seems to be a port,
Oh,
um,
definitely.
and a
And
shipbuilding place, so
I think she would do that, but I think she and her brothers would like to have a restful night on the boat first.
okay.
They have to have a chance to pray for the souls of their parents and maybe get some sleep because they've always been told as kids that the parents will speak to them in dreams, and so I think she and her brothers would like to do that.
Okay, well then we'll end with something else. So you have a dream, then Helga, or maybe it is more of a nightmare. You are passing through a violent storm
Oh,
somewhere on the ocean. The boat is rocking. You're not at a calm port at the edge of the Oslo fjord, and you're passing through a violent storm, and a giant whale appears from the depths, swallowing you whole. And the last thing you see before you wake up are the two burning eyes of the whale as you hear the echo of a ghostly voice. Of fortune seekers brave and bold, Neju's cauldron must have its fill. Footsteps trace the path of stones. Dance to have thy fate foretold. Enter deep neath Bronwyn's hill. Blood must stain the ancient bones. And we'll stop there. What does that mean?
means I think I have to find myself a temple.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Amy, for playing. I hope you enjoyed it. We did get combat. It's a fun and dynamic combat system, but well, you did get to shoot and you hit the boat, which is great. I think the use of the fate slash fortune points are a good addition because I want to tell the story. And actually Helga didn't even get to use any. I would have given her if she had been down one. I would have at that point I would have given her one for hitting that boat. That was a great shot. So yeah, I think, and I probably should have given Bjorn one for that critical success and escaping the wrath of the Rald clan. So yeah, with his expert sailing through the Strait of Hinna. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
we'll can
Well, isn't it always the older brother's job to navigate the seas?
I guess it is. I guess it is, especially in this case. He probably would say, "I am the elder brother," after all.
Hmm.
All right. So thank you everyone for watching. Thanks, Amy, for joining me to explore the world of Hårn, although technically this is Ivinia, and we're exploring Kythera on the continent of Lithia. And we are going to get to Hårn because this is a saga. It is a journey. And I
Oh
hope
yeah,
you can join us next time on this continuing saga.
absolutely. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you want to see more.
And don't forget to have a good night with good rolling.